They say words can build kingdoms, but in Mesopotamia, words could also kill you. To speak a vow was not simply to make a promise. It was to place your very flesh, your soul, your family, your bloodline into the hands of gods who were believed to thirst for punishment. Picture this: a silent temple in Nineveh, the air heavy with incense so thick you can taste it on your tongue. Torches burn along black stone walls carved with lions and winged demons. Men, soldiers, merchants, slaves, even kings stand in rows, trembling like children. Because here, in this chamber, no one was powerful. Before Ashur, before Ishtar, before the gods of blood and vengeance, everyone was equal, and everyone was afraid. The priest steps forward. His robes are soaked crimson from earlier rituals. In his hand, he carries a blade, not polished, but chipped and stained from the throats it has cut. He chants the words of the oath, his voice echoing. The crowd repeats after him, but their voices falter because they know, once spoken, these words cannot be taken back. This is not a symbolic act. The oath is not just a promise. It is a curse, a contract written into your body. If you betray it, the punishment will come. The gods will see to it. And if the gods are too slow, then men will finish the work. A general kneels before the altar. He has sworn loyalty to the Assyrian king, but loyalty in Mesopotamia is never enough. His hands are stretched forward, palms open. A lamb is slaughtered above him, its throat slit in one clean motion. Blood runs hot across his hands. The priest whispers, "So shall it be done to you, should you betray this oath." The general is forced to lick his palms clean. Imagine that taste: warm, metallic, sticky. The flavor of death coating your tongue as you swear never to betray your king. And if he does betray him, his punishment is already known. His skin will be peeled from his body while he screams. His tongue will be cut out, nailed to the city gates as a warning. His family, his wife, his children will be burned alive or sold into slavery, vanishing into markets where no one speaks their name again. This was not legend. This was law. The Assyrian kings ruled with blood and with words, and the oath was the most terrifying weapon of all. But oaths weren't reserved for generals or lords. Even the lowest farmer, accused of stealing grain, might be forced to swear innocence before the gods. He would stand naked, humiliated, trembling before the fire, reciting his words while a blade hovered at his throat. If he lied, the gods would curse him, or so everyone believed. His fields would rot, his animals would die, his children would sicken and waste away. To refuse the oath was unthinkable. To speak it falsely was a death sentence. Now imagine the conquered. When the Assyrian armies crushed a city, its leaders were dragged to Nineveh, broken, beaten, still bleeding from war. They were lined up in the temple of Ashur. Before them, tablets covered in curse-laden text were raised and read aloud. The words were grotesque: threats of famine, rape, slaughter, plague. If you betray this vow, may your wives be ravished before your eyes. May your children's blood be spilled on stones. May your city be reduced to ash. And then, trembling, the leaders had to repeat these words. They had to make them real with their voices. Once spoken, they could never be taken back. One record tells us of kings who were forced to drink bowls of blood as part of their vow. Not metaphorical, real, thick, hot blood, offered as a symbol of the life they promised to give up if they ever betrayed the Assyrians. Can you imagine the horror, the choking taste, the silence afterward, broken only by the priest's voice, sealing the curse with the name of Ashur? It was theater, yes, but theater soaked in fear. Priests would cut open sheep and spread their entrails out across the floor, pointing to them as examples, "So shall liars be torn apart." They would shatter clay vessels at the speaker's feet, declaring, "So shall your body be broken." They would let flames lick the edges of robes as if showing how traitors would burn. Ritual after ritual, curse after curse, until the oath felt like iron chains around the neck. And this terror worked. People believed. If a man fell sick, if a child died, if a crop failed, neighbors whispered, "He must have broken his oath." Suspicion itself was enough to destroy a man. Once cursed, your fate was sealed, in life or in whispers. And even the kings weren't safe. Assyrian rulers who conquered nations still feared the words of their priests. Oaths bound them too. There are accounts of rulers who went mad, haunted by visions of divine punishment, convinced their gods would strike them dead for some broken vow. Imagine ruling the greatest empire of the ancient world, yet trembling at night, unable to sleep because your own words hang over you like a blade. And when a king wanted to keep his court obedient, he didn't just threaten them with soldiers, he made them swear. Entire courts, generals, governors, servants, all lined up in ritual halls, forced to chant oaths under the gaze of statues with burning eyes. Breaking the oath didn't just mean treason, it meant damnation. It meant being erased by gods and men alike. This was the genius and the cruelty of the Assyrian Empire. They did not only rule by sword or wall, they ruled by fear of the invisible, by chains made of words, blood, curses. So the next time you think of an oath as something small, remember Nineveh, remember Ashur, remember the trembling hands dipped in blood, the tongues forced to taste death, the priests chanting curses while captives sobbed. Remember that a man's word was not just his honor, it was his body, his family, his life. In the Assyrian world, words could kill, and once spoken, they could never be unsaid. So tell me, if you were there, with the knife hovering, the blood dripping, the gods watching, would you dare to swear the oath, or would you die refusing it?